गिरिवरधारी यशोधनन्दन व्रजन रञ्जन यमुनतीरावनचारि यमुनतीरावनचारि हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे जय प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा श्रील प्रभुपदा जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद नित्य गौर हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल धर्म हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जगत गुरु श्री प्रभुपाद की। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nastapráyeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistike. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 7, The Activities of King Bharata. Text 10. Yatrashna padanya ubhayato नाभिबीहिर दृश्चक चक्rais चक्र नदी नाम सरित प्रवरा सर्वतः पवित्रैर करोति. Word to word meaning. Yatra, where. Ashrama padani, all hermitages. Ubhayataha, both on top and below. Nabibihi, like the symbolic mark of a navel. Drishat, visible. Chakrahi, with the circles. Chakra Nadi, the Chakra Nadi river, generally known as the Gandaki. Nama, of the name. Sarit Pravara, the most important river of all. Sarvataha, everywhere. Pavitrai Karoti, sanctifies. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Translation. In Pulaha Ashram is the Gandaki river, which is the best of all rivers. The Shaligram Shila, the marble pebbles, purify all those places. On each and every marble pebble, up and down, circles like navels are visible. Purport. Shaligram Shila refers to pebbles that appear like stones with circles marked up and down. These are available in the river known as Gandaki Nadi. Wherever water of this river flow, the place becomes immediately sanctified. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamavyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagradatam Sagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadhvaitam Savadutam Harijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitanscha Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratashave Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha kalpatarubhascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Shadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam tangam langayate girim yaskrupatamaham vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Harihi Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. So we are discussing about the chapter activities of King Bharata, which is very short chapter. So today's sloka, it talks about the Pulaga Ashram and the Gandaki river, in which Maharaj Bharat has left his kingdom and he divided his kingdom among his 5 sons, and he came to this place where this uh, sacred river, Gandaki river, also called as Chakra river, yes, Chakra Nadi, flows. So this is the river where we get this Shaligram Shilas, which are very very auspicious, and and each Shila from their place is worshipable as Lord Himself. Generally, if you see, when we do DT installation, for the DT we have to do Pran Pratishtha. But these Shilas, it's not required because they already, Lord is residing in that uh, stones. So these stones are special stones, not as a normal stones. So they have different marks on it. Each stone we can see the marks of a navel and the shape of a chakra on the top and below both. So each stone has this, and apart from that, each stone has different marks also that represent which form of the Lord. And I heard for the any temple to install the deities, first they should have these Shaligram Shilas, and through Shaligram Shilas only they invoke and transfer the like the Prana Pratishtha of the big deities will happen. It's a very auspicious place, Gandaki River, and where Pulaga Ashram was there. And in this ashram, this Bharat Maharaj has came to practice his devotional activities alone. He has made his small kutir, and he was practicing his devotional service over there. And in the further slokas also, it is nicely mentioned how he was intensely doing his sadhana and intensely executing his devotional activities, how carefully he used to collect the items for the worshipping the Lord Vasudeva. So in that way, Bharat Maharaj was very peacefully situated in that place, and very nicely he was executing his devotional duties. But so one day happened, so one incident has happened in that place. When he took bath in the morning as usual, and when he was did his morning duties, and he sat in a place and started chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So it happened so that near the river he was sitting and chanting. Then it found that a deer with a pregnant came to that river to take water, to drink, to quench her thirst. So when it was drinking, not it like finished her drinking water, so she heard a lion roaring just close by. So then it found that lion was so near to me, and it may attack me at any time. So but by the sound of the roaring, she got frightened so much that she gave birth to the baby child, baby deer. And and as soon as when she saw the lion very close to her, so out of fear, then she jumped across the river and she crossed and went and left the baby deer alone. So Bharat Maharaj was sitting in that hill, top of the hill, and where river was flowing. So he saw this incident that has happened, because when we are chanting, when he was chanting, his eyes was open, and he saw this incident, and he felt compassion about that baby deer, and he thought, except me, no one is there to take care of it. He went. First of all, he saw, then he went, he touched, and he picked the deer and he brought to his ashram to take care. He thought that no one is there to take care of this small baby deer, so only I have left, so I have to take care. So he took all the responsibility of giving protection to this baby deer. Lalan, Palan, Poshan, everything he was taking care. And he was so attached to the deer that without deer he was not able to continue his any activity. So one mistake what he has done is that when he was chanting, he was very inattentive. This little inattentiveness leads to the great danger. When we are doing or executing our devotional service, we should be very careful. So this is the best example for us where we can learn this lesson from the story of Bharat Maharaj, that Lord is teaching us through the Bharat Maharaj. And we see the situation without, means any moment without thinking of the Lord, that situation is very pathetic situation for us. Actually, especially for the human form which we have got, very rare. So it is said, this human form, the life which we are living, has three ways. Three effects will be there, especially the previous birth karma, previous lives, and the samskara from the parents, what we get, and the future karma, what we are going to do. These three things which decides our life, how we have to go through, what kind of situations we are going through. These three things are major. And if you see, out of three things, the past life, the karma which we have, that definitely will come to this life. It will not leave us. And the samskaras, what our parents do, that also comes to us. But these two things are which we cannot, which are not in our hands, which is already destined. But future karma, what we are going to do, that is there in our hands. So we should be very careful when we are doing the activities, when we are performing any activities. This also cautioned me about, like, I should be very careful when I deal or do any kind of activities, whichever activity it is, but I should be very careful, because that will give us, like, next, like, what we call, the result that I have to face through. So if I am doing something wrong, then definitely that the reaction will be the bad, which I have to go through it. Once I committed that, then there is no other option where to correct it. I have to go through it. But before doing that, I have a chance whether should I do or not. If we are not careless, we are not careful, then with our carelessness, yes, we commit many mistakes. So that's what the happened here. That's what the fault. So in the life of Bharat Maharaj, we see who is the father of Bharat Maharaj, Rishabh Dev. Who is he? He is the Lord himself. Is there a fault from the Lord side? We can't put any fault from the Lord side. Means when we compare with us with our life, definitely in our previous life, obviously I can say myself, like, I might have did so many bad karmas. So, and my parentage also, we can see, like, they are not that so cultured that they give nice samskaras to me. But in the case of Rishabh Dev, it is not less so. Both the things are very proper, because he is coming from the descendant of the Lord. He is a son of the Lord. So these two things are, there is no fault. But where is the fault? The action what he committed for the future. So that was the fault which Bharat Maharaj did. When he was chanting, he was not thinking that, let me continue my chanting, focus on the Lord. Lord will take care of other things. Rather, he thought, other than me, no one is there to take care. I'm the only one who can give the shelter to that deer. So immediately he went and he took charge of that deer, baby deer, to take care of. So the future activities what we are going to do, these activities are mainly depend on our senses, five senses, knowledge acquiring senses, Gyanendriyas, eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin. Through this, uh, we do activities. So when we are doing any activity with these five senses, we should be very careful. Until unless we are not careful, then little deviation, so there is a greater loss and danger is there behind. We have to go through that great suffering. Many devotees, they keep putting these questions: what will happen if I see for some time? What will happen if I eat little some other food which is not offered? What will happen if I gorgeously dress myself? What is wrong in that? Many things they say, right? What happens if I hear some song only, it is related to song Lord only, which is sung by some other person, but it is related to song Lord only. What happened? What is wrong in that? If I hear, so many people, they keep devotees keep asking this question. They don't know the result of it. What will happen to them when they go through it? But you see, Lord, to teach us, He has selected His own Son. From Bharat Maharaj side, the further slokas, next sloka only, it talks about what exalted position is the Bharat Maharaj, how he is fixed in his executing devotional service. But how can this happen to Bharat Maharaj? Because Lord wanted us to teach. For that sake, He has put His devotee into this situation to teach His other devotees, to set an example, to teach us. So we should be very careful what we are hearing, what we are eating, what we are seeing, is all matters a lot. Bharat Maharaj, not only he saw, Not only he touched, he has taken full charge. He can't even imagine like how much he was attached to the deer. He was feeding the deer. He was taking care nicely. He was patting him, like scratching the body, and how the parents they take care of child. They lift them. They make them fun. Means they make them to laugh. The child. They do so many things like that. Bharat did all these activities. It is so much so like if deer, it is cold outside, he used to cover the body of the deer, and to give warmth, he used to hug and sleep in the night. That much he was so attached. Sometimes, whenever he goes for the plucking some flowers, leaves, fruits, whatever is required, he goes to the forest. At the time when he was forest going along with him, he used to carry the deer. And when deer got tired, not able to walk, he used to lift, keep on the shoulders, keep carry on the hands, in the hands. So he did all these things, so much attached, so much he has got attachment. The next chapter is also, after this chapter, the four slokas are left. After this chapter, we can see how Bharat Maharaj has fallen down from the position when he got attached to this deer. He was so exalted in practicing Krishna consciousness, he was so fixed, but just deviation by his eyes when he was chanting, and whole devotional service gone. He left everything. He left. He forgot completely that no, he was doing practicing. He came. He left whole his kingdom, and he don't have any attachment for the enjoyment. He has left his soul, the opulence, kingdom, everything. But now he is attached to the deer, small deer. So he has forgotten everything. He has given up his Krishna consciousness devotional service. Only the cause is the attachment to this deer. So we should be very careful when we are uh, executing our devotional activities. So especially this senses, we should engage. We should know how to engage these senses nicely in the service of the Lord. It is said like even though poison little bit also, it will kill us, kill a person. So when the senses are being not controlled, and when we think that little bit I can eat, little bit I can see, then you can see the cause is a bigger. So little poison also can kill a person. So the danger is like life threat. Like we can lose our devotional service. If this thing happened with the Bharat Maharaj, who is so exalted devotee, so we can think like what can happen with us? Because when I talk about myself, it is very difficult for me to control all my senses and engage in the Lord. So it's very difficult, and that too, Bharat Maharaj was in the forest, and we are in the city, where there is no difference between day and night. Wherever you can go, there are people, and mostly these kind of so-called melas and all, they put very difficult to sustain. Big loudspeakers, mundane songs going here and there, and Shudranis are everywhere, hugging, and so bad. Very difficult. See how our mind is. Once we see any something which is not supposed to be seen, then that impressions are there, remain in our mind. Even once, just a blink, that will remain in our mind for a long time. But this will not happen with our devotional activities when we are doing. So only for us, it is very difficult. We should be very careful. So whatever activities we are doing, we should be very careful, or else great danger we have to face. So how to come out of this? Until unless we don't engage our senses in the Lord's service, it is very difficult. Our acharyas has given everything: how to execute, how to be protected, how to train our senses. Everything has been given. So Srila Prabhupada has given all these things, how to engage. So we have to follow this thing strictly, the instructions what our acharyas has given, or else there is no uh, uh, like a, there is a high cause, where we can be carried away by these senses. In somewhere I heard about the example of a tortoise, how it is very careful. If something happens, immediately it withdraws, everything goes inside, it is safe. So we should also see ourselves, when these things are often happening with us, so we try to change those things, towards Krishna. We should come towards the Krishna, and we should focus more on the practicing Krishna consciousness. We should what we call, we should sincerely praying to the Lord, and focusing more on the activities which we are doing, devotional service activities. So we have to meditating on it. It is said, when we woke up till when we go back to the bed, whatever activities we do, those activities we can do in Krishna conscious way. But we should know how to do that. So just by stick on to this, the instructions which our acharyas has given, and following them with a lot of faith, praying to the Lord in helpless condition, in any time any danger can happen, so many distractions. Even though we are there among the devotees, when we are chanting, when we are doing many things, many distractions, many things happen. The mind also cheats us. So when we pray desperately to the Lord, taking the shelter, then only we can come out of this. There is one saying about Tulsidas. Very nicely he said, "बिगड़ी जन्म अनेक की, सुधरे आज." It is bigdi janma, so many births we have wasted it. We have wasted in our sense gratification, enjoyment tendencies. We have wasted our so many lives. That can be rectified by today itself. We can rectify it. Not only today, now only we can rectify. Hoye Ram ke naam jap. When we chant the names of the Lord Ram, then all this, whatever the uh, uh, abominable things we have done in our so many lives, So that can be rectified just by chanting the names of the Lord. Immediately we can rectify. And Tulsidas says, like, no, give up though that society, association of that society which is not favorable for the practice of Krishna consciousness. Give it up immediately. Until unless we don't give up, it will be difficult to rectify our lives. And take to this process of chanting Krishna, chanting the names of the Lord, and taking the shelter of the Lord. The shelter, the only that which can help us or save us from this abominable situation is the shelter, the lotus feet of the Lord. Until unless we don't take, it is difficult. So we see these five senses are so strong, like a five horses. It is compared in Bhagavad Gita. We don't control it, then the journey is not so easy. It is very difficult journey, not smooth journey. We see people with the eyes, they want to see so many things. With the ears, they want to hear so many mundane songs and things like that. Nose, they want to smell many things. They have so many things in our that material world. So many things they have, perfume, this, that. And tongue wanted to taste many delicious items which are not offered to the Lord. And skin wanted to touch soft other things. Until unless there is no connection with these things with the Lord, whatever activity we do with this, so it may lead to a danger. We should, Ambarish Maharaj, he nicely mentions how all his senses, mind engaging in the Lord's service. With our eyes, we have to see the Lord's form, beautiful form. With the nose, we can smell the flowers offered to the Lord. And with the ears, we can hear the glories of the Lord. And with the tongue, we can chant the names of the Lord, and we can uh, taste the prasadam of the Lord. And with the skin, we can touch the form of the devotees of the Lord, or we can use in many ways. So like that, Ambarish Maharaj has mentioned very nicely how to engage the senses in a Krishna conscious way. So in that same way, we should also engage our senses in the service of the Lord. Generally, devotees, they think like, no, I'm a very sincere senior devotee now. No, I've been practicing for many years. Nothing will happen for me. I can eat, I can do whatever I want. That is a trap of Maya, Maya's trap. It is said that even while we are chanting, this also some people ask this question, right? So when we are chanting, no, I keep meditating on the pastimes of the Lord, and and form of the Lord. I can imagine the form of the Lord. I heard that this is also a snare of the Maya. Chanting means what? Only two things you have to do. That is, chant and hear. Nothing else. When we are getting all these things in between, means Maya also coming in between when we are doing a devotional service by giving all these kind of things. So we should not deviate from the process what is being given by the acharyas. Naturally, when we are uh, progressed nicely, then these things automatically they will manage. manifest. No need to forcibly think ourselves about this imagine form of the Lord and other things. That will naturally will come. But initially, we should only focus on the process what is being given. We should not dilute it. There will be not much effect if we dilute. So rather we can just take as it is and just practice it, and we can see the changes in our lives. We can focus when we are doing it. Everything procedure, everything has been given. Many acharyas has given in their scriptures, instructions has been given. Srila Prabhupada has given us everything in his books and his lectures. So when we hear, when we read, so we can understand very nicely, and no need to put our extra intelligence in that. So best is like have simple this one, and uh, faith in the acharyas what they have given. So when we practice it, definitely there will be fast progress. So unnecessarily we think many things and we try to implement. Then what happens? Like we slow down the process. So when we dilute, it doesn't have much effect. Then the process will be slow. And people, devotees come and say, after doing many years of chanting this that, there is no effect. Yes, there will be no effect because that is diluted. When we chant, when we do, when we follow as it is what is given, then definitely there will be more effect. So the lesson what we can learn is like even a exalted devotee can go through this kind of dangers. So we are not that exalted. We are not fixed up devotees. We have, especially myself, I don't have even taste, not yet got that little taste in chanting and devotional activities. So whatever activity I do, I should be very careful, or else it leads to a greater danger where I have to suffer a lot in the future. With this, I just pause today's class. Any questions, corrections, comments?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for nice points about being attentive in our sadhana bhakti. So three things which affects our life, as you mentioned: past karma, samskaras by parents, and future karma. And the first two is not in our hands, as you rightly said. Samskaras by parents and past karma. Past karma, samskaras by parents, and future karma. So that is something which is in our hand. What we're currently doing or what we're planning to do, that's in our hand. So we have to be careful and do it accordingly. And we should be careful while executing devotional service because the senses are very strong, as you mentioned. So one sense strong in one animal, and that animal dies because of that sense organ. And for us as human beings, all the senses are strong, as you were telling, the 5 horses analogy. So we have to be very careful and engage our senses in service of the Lord so that it gets purified. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you very much for the nice class. So I also want to take the same point. So future activities which are to be done. So it is on our hand. So it should be done carefully. So what am I doing? So thinking about the consequences. So what it will be. And finally, you nicely summarized that how difficult it is to stay in the material world to practice bhakti. So much of allurements around. It's very difficult. But the only thing is that Srila Prabhupada, our Acharya, has given everything in his books, in his lectures. Nothing else need to be concocted. I just follow Srila Prabhupada as it is. Then he will save us. So this faith, at least I have to develop on Prabhupada, on his lectures, on his Vani and his book. Then life is successful. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanapram. Nice class, Prabhuji. So mentioned nicely about how Bharat Maharaj so exalted devotee, and Lord, his father is Lord himself, Rishabdev. So Lord teaching with his son to for all of us to how to be execute devotional service. Even if are very exalted devotees in is like Bharat Maharaj, then also in the senses or this senses you mentioned about the knowledge acquiring senses, it is very strong. Then it can be pull us again in this material world because of this attachment. This Basmar is thinking that for this deer, there's no one else taking care. I'm only taking. I will only take care of this. I have to take care of this, and no one else to take. If we are not take care, then it will die. Like they're developing attachment. Then they will how he will pulled out again. He left everything. He's left kingdom, and but he was trapped in this circle. This is how the Maya works one another plans. This is very we should always take care, and you should follow the what our previous acharya is giving this instruction, and faithfully and praying the Lord in a helpless condition, whatever condition we got. This nice point. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So thank you for nice class. So you have told like so a little deviation from the devotional service may create some dangerous. So you mentioned the example of Bharat Maharaj because of some little comparison towards the deer, baby deer. So he trap on this Maya. And second point you told like doing activity on Krishna consciousness way. So whatever the activity we are doing, some devotional service, so we should be more focused on that and more attentive and doing in the qualities. And also third point you told like stick to the acharya's footsteps. So whatever the acharya is told, so as it is, we have to be present in such a way that we can be get the successful. Thank you.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, आपने बताया कैसे हम हमारा इंद्रियों को कैसे कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं, और आपने एग्जांपल दिया कि अम्बरीश महाराज वो कैसे उनका लाइफ में सारे इंद्रियों को कैसे कंट्रोल कर देते हैं भगवान का सेवा करके सारे इंद्रियों का, और बताया कि हमारा लाइफ कैसे, प्रभु जी जैसे बताया कि लाइफ 3 कर्म से बेस्ट है, जैसे एक फैमिली और हमारा पास्ट कर्म, ये दोनों को मिक्स करके हमारा फ्यूचर में हम क्या कर रहे हैं वो सारे हमको नेक्स्ट लाइफ में मिले। हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So very nice point you mentioned that how we have to be extremely careful in a devotional service. Just like the example of Bharat Maharaj, that he was the son of the Lord, son of Rishabdev, and he was in such an exalted position. But even then, because of the will of the Lord, he fell down from his devotional service, just to set an example so that we have to be very careful in our devotional service. And always it starts with a little deviation, as we discussed in the Bhakti Vaibhav, that all starts from a little space or little gap for some or the other things, and but eventually it creates a havoc. Eventually the person goes completely sidetracked. So like that, take care. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, you mentioned that we should be very careful while using our Jnana Indriyas. Like little careless may lead to very big danger, and we might get back from our Krishna consciousness. So we should be careful. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.